Welcome to the Roll for Combat Actual Play podcast, where our intrepid adventurers are playing through the Pathfinder adventure, The Fall of Plaguestone. Join us every week as our daring adventurers face treacherous monsters and deadly obstacles on their quest to save a town from utter destruction. Lead on, listener. Your quest awaits.
Last we left off, you were going on a nice little tour of Plaguestone with the 80-year-old mayor. He was showing you around, showing you the sights. You got to see things like, the dead homes, the drunk shepherd's path, the old shrine where you are now, where it appears to be a little shrine that used to have religious purposes, but over the years has kind of fallen into disuse and overrun with wilderness. As Celes was poking around in the shrine, suddenly bloodseekers, aka stirges, emerged from their slumber as you seem to have poked a hornet's nest and combat has begun. Cade is up first, and you see yourself surrounded by 4 bloodseekers.
Oh, hooray.
Rob Tremarco is playing Cade Thistlerot, the halfling rogue thief.
We have to protect this old guy. He didn't ask for this.
We didn't ask for it either.
Lauren Sieg is playing Prue Frosthammer, the half-orc spirit barbarian.
Oh yeah, don't forget, he's in a wheelchair, and Prue's been pushing him around.
Oh no.
Actually, I'm going to move him a little to where he should.
Yes, put him where he has to be.
There we go. And suddenly he's like, what's going on? He hears like, zzz, and you just see these nasty, nasty blood-seeking sturges buzzing around looking for you.
Let's make sure we apply the parking brake before we start fighting.
Jason McDonald is playing Brixley Silverthorn, the gnome champion liberator.
All right. What I will do is whip out my staff sling, action number 1, and flick a bullet to Cade's right. There's 4 of them.
Yeah. They're literally in a cross formation. There's one at noon,
That's
3
great.
o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 9 o'clock. They've surrounded you.
Oh boy. All right, here we go.
Here comes the sling. A 2 will not even come close. Man, that was close to critical failure. Not quite. Action number 3. What you doing?
I will draw a short sword and drop the sling.
Bloodseeker, the one from the south. He moves up right in front of Cade. Seems like you're a nice little morsel.
I'm a little juice box.
Okay. Do you want the good news or the bad news?
Bad news.
The bad news is that he hits you. The good news is it does no damage. The best news is that what he did is that he attached to you and he put his little proboscis into you, and now he's attached to you.
Oh, this is no good.
He is going to start sucking your blood.
Brixley, help me, Brixley!
So for its third action, he starts sucking your blood. It does 2 points of damage to you. And as he sucks your blood, it looks like he is getting bigger, larger, stronger. Oh, that's
no.
right.
Oh,
he's
no.
gaining hit points as he's getting your blood. There's one right next to Prue. It's going to attack Prue. Bzz, 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 bzz. Oh, that ain't good.
Oh no.
Good news is a critical hit doesn't do anything except it just like really latches onto you. It like gets everything, all of its barbs are grabbing you, it puts a little beak into you, and it starts to feast. Yum, 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 yum. Oh, look at the purple dice of death! 8 points of damage. Ooh, that's not good.
Thank you.
Celeste
Thank
is
you,
up.
brother.
Yeah, just checking. Celeste is up.
She points to the one that is to the east. She says, "There's another one over there!" And as she's pointing, an arc of fire springs from her finger over toward the bloodsucker.
Vanessa Hoskins is playing Celes Carvassalon, the human angelic sorcerer.
Okay. Also, by the way, you actually have drained 1 attached to you. What that does is it messes up your con checks, your fort saves. It gives you less maximum hit points. I wouldn't really worry about it. It's okay. Oh, that's cool. A flame flies out of Celeste's hands and bursts in front of one of the Bloodseekers, nearly killing it.
Nearly. For her final action, so that's 2 actions to cast her spell that she didn't even know she had. And then her third one, she's going to look at her hands in amazement and then suddenly hold them up toward that Bloodseeker to create a shield as her final action. Stop!
Okay. Tarjan, who's looking around, is like, help me! And he starts pushing the wheel cart over.
Oh no.
And then as he is trying to escape, the wheel cart hits a rock and it falls. He's prone and completely helpless on the ground as his wheel cart takes a spill. Prue.
These little bugs are getting on my nerves.
This Bloodseeker is attached to you. You can try to escape, use athletics and try to rip it off, or you can just attack it. It's flat-footed. I mean, you can literally just try to smash it while it's attached to you and kill it.
Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use 1 action to get ghostly angry, to put up my spiritual rage. I'm going to use another action to pull out my dire flail, and I'm going to use my last action to attack, which is just going to be me wrapping the flail chain around it and squeezing it to death.
Okay, give me an attack. See if you manage to squeeze it to death. You squeeze it to death. Good job. However, by squeezing it to death, it explodes, and now you are profusely bleeding. You take 1 point of damage from bleeding. To stop the bleeding, it is a flat DC 15 check, so just roll. Roll a d20 and let's see if you make it.
Okay. And this should start going to my temporary hit points for the time being.
Ooh.
I double-clicked it. The first one didn't make it,
First
though.
one, yeah. The first one didn't make it. So it's a flat DC 15, but next round, if you want, you can actually do an active check to heal yourself, or you're basically bleeding, and time will eventually stop on its own if you don't do a check, or you could try to do something like heal yourself or bandage yourself or something that you would imagine that would help. The Bloodseeker that was damaged, trying to decide the easy target or the woman who burned her, flies over to the lovely lady, decides to attack you and crits you. 25. Good news
You
is
put those purple dice away.
the good news is it actually doesn't hurt you. Oh, this round. Now it does. 4 points of damage.
Can I interrupt for a second, Steve?
Yes.
Does this count as a grab or grapple?
It is a grab.
Then I can use, as a reaction, since she's within 15 feet of me, I can use my champion liberating step to give her a free chance to escape the grapple.
What? That's cheating.
That's what you get.
That's cheating. Okay.
An
You got it.
enemy damages, grabs, or grapples your ally, and both are within 15 feet of you.
Okay. You can give me
That's a free attempt to break free.
yes, athletics check to try to. You can also use base attack.
And I technically used that for. Yeah, I forgot about it and then it popped into my head now, and I was reading about it. But hey, I figured it out.
You forgot about it for Cade and Prue.
I'm sorry.
Oh, don't be sorry. They just know that you hate them. And
Also, I can only do it. I assume I only have one reaction per round, though. So
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah.
So I only would have helped one of them anyways.
And you were saving it for me? How sweet.
So it's either athletics or your base attack, whichever you want.
Oh, base attack, I can use Dex, so that is far better.
Okay. Oh. You try to escape. A 12 is not enough to escape the clutches of the Bloodseeker. So once again, it does do its 4 points of damage. You know, it's funny. They only seem to do max damage. And now Brixley is up.
Well, much as Celes is kind of by herself with two of them coming down at her, Prue is also free to help her, so I'm going to try to help Cade. Also, just in terms of having enough actions to do something. So action 1, I draw my rapier, and action 2, I will attack the Bloodseeker that is attached to Cade.
Okay. It is flat-footed, so it should be pretty easy for you to hit it. You hit it. 4 points of damage. It's still alive, though. You know why? All that extra tasty blood is keeping it going.
In that case, I will go ahead and attack one more time.
This time with feeling.
But also this time with -5.
And this time, Cade is moving around too much, and you miss.
Luckily, I do not stab him.
Oh no.
Bloodseeker number 2.
Well, okay. Is there any chance that a 3 was a critical failure?
Oh, it could have been. No, well, maybe. Might have been a critical failure.
Oh no, but that was the raw. The raw roll was
Yeah.
3. It was actually 9. So
3, 9, -5. It's all right. The next one pops over, flies over to Celes. Hits. Ooh,
Oh,
Celes
no.
now has 2 attached to her. Oh, it only did 2 points of damage. Sorry. Okay, so here's where we're at. Cade has a wounded Bloodseeker attached to you, sucking blood. Celes has 2 Bloodseekers attached to her. Prue killed the one attached to her, but she's bleeding out. Tarjan is on the ground like a turtle on its back. And Brixley's just fooling around, like trying to make other people do things. Cade, you're up.
All right, I'm going to stab this one that's attached itself to my thigh.
Yum, 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 yum.
Flat-footed, so it gets sneaks.
That's right. Although rolling a 3, even flat-footed, is not enough. So, first attack.
I'll do it again.
Okay,
Only at -4 this time. Because
that
it's
is correct.
super agile. Yeah!
Cool. This time you stab it right in the heart. It explodes, and you are also now bleeding.
Can I
Yeah, one
take an
more
action,
action,
like
though.
you said, to stop myself from bleeding?
What are you going to do?
Like make a medicine check? Bandage?
I think it's 2 actions, unfortunately.
Oh, it is? Then forget it. I can't throw a short sword, and I don't think I can't just have to have a quick draw to take a knife and throw it, right?
Yeah, you don't have anything like that, so...
If you step in position this turn, it's an action you don't have to use next turn.
It's true. What's the penalty to throw a short sword that can't be thrown? And plus, it'll be my 3rd attack, so I have to roll 20 to do anything. All right, I'll just move up.
It would be really bad. It would be really, really hard.
Yeah, real hard. So I'm gonna go there.
Trying to
I'm gonna
flank it.
Trying to flank it with Celes.
Okay, you take 1 point of damage as you are bleeding out, and give me.
Do I make a flat check?
flat DC 15 to see if you naturally stop bleeding?
Just a D20 plus nothing?
D20. Yeah, just it. The flat is basically in the old day it would be like, oh, if you roll like 1 to 20. So that's all it is. A 1 is not enough.
It's the new percentile, flat check.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, you could replace them with flat check, and whatever the number is you're supposed to get, that's the percentage chance that a thing happens.
Yeah. Okay, the 2 that are dead and just blood stains. There's only 2 left, and they're both attached to Celeste, and it's your turn. Celeste, what are you going to do?
Celeste reaches down, and she has like her index finger and thumb in, ready to pinch it, and she reaches down to pinch it, and another gout of flame, and she's like, get off, get off, get off, get off, get off, and another gout of flame springs forth towards it, and this is the same one I had blasted before.
Which, by the way, healed itself with your tasty blood. So.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Oh, you explode it! You 2 are now bleeding, however. There's still one attached to you.
Yeah, well, it's coming along for the ride. With my last action, I'm going to move down in front of Prue and Brixley. Get it off, get it off, get it off!
Why don't you turn your body so that it's flanking with me? Oh, well, it's flat-footed regardless, so it wouldn't do anything.
There's no point in flanking. Yeah, flanking doesn't do anything. So. You take 1 point of bleed damage. Flat check to see if you can stop the flow. A 4 does not stop the flow. Tarjan is on the ground, and he's like, "What y'all doing back there? Somebody pick me up. Somebody help me. Stop your belly aching. Hurry on up." Prue's up. You're bleeding.
Yeah, I'm going to take my two-handed flail, and I'm going to swat that insect on Celes. Just swat it.
I'm going to say critical miss hits her. So let's see what happens, shall we?
Oh no.
We shall.
We shall. You're lucky it's flat-footed, because you just barely hit it with a 13. But you smush it with 10 points of damage, and it dies like a tick.
Not all of us are using purple dice.
True. They're all dead. You're still bleeding. You have 2 actions left. What are you going to do?
I'll try to staunch the bleeding. I'll hold my hand like real close against the puncture wound to get it to stop bleeding. So I think my flat check is reduced to 10 this time.
That is correct. Yep, that's correct. You still take the damage.
I think you don't take the damage, because if you do the action, you get the immediate check. And if it fails, then the 1 damage happens.
Right, I think you're right. You're right. So I will give you back. So you make your check, and you staunch the bleeding, so you are no longer bleeding. Brixley, you're up. You are completely free of bugs and mosquitoes and blood. But Celeste right next to you is still bleeding, as is Kate. And there's a guy on the ground, asking for help. What are you going to do? Well, with my first action, I'm going to perform a lay on hands on Celeste. And that'll immediately give her 6 hit points back. I don't know if it stops the bleeding or not, but
It definitely should.
she's looking a little pale, so she could use some help. You actually heal her for 6, and it stops the bleeding.
Oh, thank you.
And it
Cool.
stops the drained 1 too. And then I will use action number 2 to go over to Targan. Yep. And help him get kind of do what I can, however much I can do with 1 action to start getting him back into his chair. Oh, give me a strength check. Let's see what happens. This should be funny. Oops, sorry, I mean to roll it twice, but 15. 15's pretty good. I'd say you managed to get the chair up and you start propping him back up into it. And he's fighting you the whole time, by the way.
Why is he fighting me? But good man, I'm trying to help you.
Cade, you're up. You're bleeding still.
I do the stop the bleeding check, right? I roll a better flat check.
Yeah, it's just a DC 10 now.
There it is.
All right, you've stopped the staunch. Combat is over. The bugs are dead. Long live the bugs. Brixley manages to finally get Tarjan up, and you look around. What are you going to do?
Is this a common occurrence here? These flying blood bugs?
What? What you talking about? You mean the mosquitoes? Oh, don't mind them. They're just a little hungry. You just swat them away. It's nothing to worry about. You guys are fine. You're fine. Stop complaining.
I had to swat it away with my knife.
Are they usually this large?
You were so scared, you tipped your chair over.
Oh, I was just confused. I wasn't scared. I just saw that you were swinging around swords and large weapons. I didn't want to accidentally get hit by one of you young yipper-snappers. Who knows what you would have done?
So says, well, they sure do bite hard. And she puts her hand to where she was bleeding and gets a handful of blood. And she sort of raises it straight up to the sky, channeling some magical energy through her angelic blood, and casts a heal spell to heal everyone within 30 feet.
Oh.
And Prue is no longer raging as well.
That's right.
2 measly points of healing.
We're rolling real low tonight on everything.
Well, you're rolling real low.
It's the lack of purple dice, I think.
Celeste appears to be fully healed. Prue and Cade still got a little bit more to go. Brixley
I took no damage.
Brixley is fit as a fiddle.
I say we should let him go.
Anyhow, the old shrine, other than it, covered in moss and sturges, appears to be quite ancient, overrun by wilderness, and you think you figured out, I can't remember if we did this, it's been a little while, that it was dedicated to
Gozra, yeah.
Yeah, Gozra.
Is that something, like, if we clear the moss off, this isn't corrupted or anything weird like that, is it? Does anybody know about, gods?
I was gonna take a look before this all happened. I've studied the divine quite extensively, actually.
Oh, then you're up. Go check out that. Go check it out. I'll also look around for non-religious things that maybe are made of money.
Oh my goodness. I kind of feel like we want to learn something more about this. I'm actually going to use my hero point to re-roll that abominable religion check.
Whoa, hero point time. The first one ever used. Dun, dun, dun. Go right ahead. That was a bad roll. 3. There we go.
Yeah.
16 for 19. Let me look this up while you figure out what you're doing around here. Give me a sec.
I'm trained, I'm just not that wise.
I didn't even notice that religion in this edition is wisdom. That's pretty neat.
I think it's nice, because if you're a cleric and you use wisdom as your key ability score, you're going to have religion, and it makes you really, really good at it, so the wizard doesn't just automatically beat you because intelligence.
It makes sense that the religious person is the one who's good at religion, except in your case, you sorcerers.
Well,
Cade uses his perceptions and finds nothing of value other than vines and twigs. Perhaps if you were a druid, you would find some use of these, but you are not. You, Celes, thought you forgot all your knowledge about this god, but then you remembered something due to a hero point. Due to inspiration. You don't know anything really more about this god, but now you're remembering the stories from earlier saying that the town hasn't had a proper church since Father Bulgris died of the plague nearly 20 years ago, and it seemed like this was his shrine. Father Bulgris worshipped Gozra, and this was the last of the religion in the town. Once he died and the plague took like half the town, all religion just sort of up and died, and no one has really been following any faith in the town, like religiously, if you will.
Okay, this is interesting to Celeste, but since she's not very religious herself, like she studied it, but she doesn't really believe in the gods, she just sort of delivers this information academically, and she says, seems like sort of a useless rock now, I suppose.
Just like the gods, useless.
Celeste nods.
Well, clearly not all of them.
Yes, I suppose the alcoholic god does deliver drinks. Where would we be without him?
See, that's a very useful god.
That's a tangible effect of a god, the drinks.
Prue's gonna get ready to push the wheelchair.
Okay. Yeah, other than that, it just appears to be an old shrine. There's nothing of value here. The bloodsuckers didn't have any treasure of any sort. You see like a little bit of their nest, but it's not like they're not like the ravens and they have trinkets or anything. So your treasure is your life and your experience.
All right, now where are we going?
Okay. Tarjan will continue the tour. Is like, you done worshiping that rock over there? You done playing with the bloodsuckers? You wanna keep going? You want me to show you the rest?
You want me
I
to...
can dump you back over, old man.
Yeah, good.
Let's see the rest of this deadly town.
Hey, this is my home you're talking about.
I mean, yes, it's quite lovely. She says as she casts prestidigitation to start cleaning the blood off of each of them.
So here you are, Etran's Folly, way to the east into this little shrubbery area. That's where the shrine is. You continue down the drunk shepherd's path to the south. He's showing you the various turnip fields to the left, turnip fields to the right, turnip fields to the southeast, turnip fields to the southwest, turnip fields to the southeast, turnip fields to the northwest. You kind of get that they like turnips here. As you pass, turnip field looks like an L, but kind of more like a T. You eventually get to a small hill, and Prue has to put her back into it to push him up the hill, as one of the wheels is a little wobbly. Up here, he goes on to explain in the south of the town that this is Etran's Hill. This is the first home built in the area, and Etran spent his fortune founding the town, only to die in a fire that consumed him and his family because the house was too far away from the well and the river. That's how Etran's Folly got its name. You get it?
Seems like a nice spot, though.
Yeah,
Couldn't one build a house out of stone?
Well, yes, he could have, but he didn't, and now he's dead.
That's quite a tragic story.
Aren't you the comedian?
No, I'm the mayor. Pay attention, you half-orcs.
Trying not to spend an action for rage.
Come on, let's keep going. Continue down the path to the east. You go through the turnip fields. There's a few more houses. Now you're going through the southern part of town. Unlike the northern part of town, which is all dead, burnt out houses, the southern part of town is quite nice, very lively. This is where everyone lives and is actually still part of, the town. As you approach back to the feed mill, Delma sees you coming and waves you in and is smiling brightly, as she seems to be very happy that you gave Targan a nice little a little holiday, if you will.
He was a pleasant company.
That's a way to put it.
That old coot.
Do I need to roll deception?
No, she's like gives you like a raised eyebrow. As you're pushing up, you actually see that Tarjan fell asleep for the last 30 seconds, and then suddenly he wakes up and he's like, "What took so long? I'm late for lunch. These young people, they barely know how to push a cart. They were too busy playing with bugs back there. Why'd you make me go with them? What are you doing? Trying to kill me?"
What a little ray of sunshine he is.
Yep, quite delightful.
Yeah, well, where's my lunch? Delma thanks you profusely. She's like, "Oh, thank you. Thanks so much. I'm in your debt. I'm in your debt for helping me out. He really needed that. I know he might not seem like a nice man, but let me tell you, he's not." And with that, you get 30 experience points for going around the town and learning all about the sights and sounds. Hooray! So, what are you going to do? It's lunchtime.
Guess we'll have lunch.
And you have that murder mystery to solve, don't forget.
Yeah, but we can solve that after we get to the bottom of a bowl of turnips.
Let's have a nice turnip lunch. I'm going to have a nice turnip parmesan.
Here's the problem. The place is closed, if you remember, because the cook is not going to come back until, well, she thinks that it's her food that killed him. So you're going to have to eat Cookie's food, if you remember.
Oh, yeah, we had that deal with Cookie because we couldn't trust the food anywhere else.
That's correct.
So you don't want me to try and retrieve her?
We should talk to her at least. Tell her, at least to eliminate her as a suspect if she should be eliminated.
Yes, that is a good idea. I think maybe if we help solve this little mystery instead of waiting for the authorities, perhaps we can get on the road a bit faster.
That's for sure.
Well, then, off with it. Where can we find this cook's house? What was her name again?
She looks at you and she's like, "Oh, Amara, she lives over in the old orchard. That's on the west side of town, right over the river. Yeah, you can find her. It's a 5-minute walk, no problem."
Can we at least stop and get some lunch first?
Only if there's some mint along the way that we can give to Cookie to, chew because of his, breath.
We get some to-go bowls.
On the other hand, if we get the cook to come back to work, then maybe she can cook a meal for us.
Well, the last meal that she served killed Bort, so I'm thinking maybe we go with Cookie's food.
Maybe, but none of the rest of us died, only Bort, so I don't think it was the food necessarily. Although she could have had something to do with it, she certainly had access.
Whoever poisoned Bort is going to know that we're on their trail. We're the next target.
That's maybe true. But there was enough commotion during that bar fight. I almost think that anyone could have slipped some poison into his porridge if that's what they were after.
Tell you what, if you're so confident, Why don't we have you taste all the food for us before we eat it? No?
Uh,
That's what I thought.
So, one other nice thing about completing this quest, not only did you get 30 experience points, you all get another hero point. Ding, ding, ding. Woo! So, everyone has 2 except Celes, who has 1. So, what is the plan, people?
Let's go grab a hoagie from Cookie and walk over to the cook.
Yeah, some jerky.
Okay. So, you guys can walk over to Cookie, and if you remember, he was going to be hunting game and trying to, put enough provisions. As you approach him, he's sort of gruff and just sort of like, It's like, I hope you figure out what happened soon, because we're going to be running out of food pretty soon. Picking around here is not so great unless you want some rotten turnips.
We're doing our best.
So he gives you what appears to be some small game and other morsels, but not enough really to fill you up. It's enough to sort of hold you over for now, but it looks like he's having some trouble hunting in this area. So you got your rations, and you can head over to the old orchard.
Yeah, let's go talk to Amara now that we've got a little snack.
Okay. You head over to the old orchard. The old orchard is a little outside of town, and you can tell that it was once a very productive apple orchard. Now, these days, it is foul and rotten. The trees haven't taken on a sickness. Her hut is behind the rotten orchard. That is where the orchard is.
All right.
Celeste will walk up and knock on the door, and just before she does, she stops and says, Brixley, did you want to do the honors?
Now, before that, the orchard, there's a trail that goes through the orchard, and on the other side is her house. What are you going to do?
We're going to get ready for combat.
I would like to sneak up to the house and around the house, around maybe to the back, just to scout it, just in case there's something, in case she didn't poison them, but who knows what the machinations are going on around here. I'm gonna scout ahead and get to the house and duck around back and search around.
What are the rest of you doing?
I don't feel like you need to have weapons out yet. But
Says you.
Yeah, I'm just going to walk with the group.
well, no, but actually, you going around the back does make a certain amount of sense, just in case there's something nefarious going on.
Yes, I do a nefarious check. Nefariousness.
Celeste strides forward proudly, not worried about such things.
Okay. Cade is doing an amazing job sneaking. He is easily going around the orchard. He's easily hiding in plain sight. He's got this. This is perhaps the best he's ever been at doing this. Meanwhile, Brixley and Celeste are proudly just going up the middle of the, up the road. And then you start hearing buzzing sounds. Large buzzing sounds. Bees, if you will.
Like the blood drinker Sturges?
Is it similar to the sound of the bloodseekers or whatever?
Roll for combat!
Oh no.
Oh, no. This time, it's a large swarm of bees that has been spooked as Brixley walked by one of the rotten orchard trees. Cade, who's pretty far away and almost at the house, suddenly hears the commotion and goes first. So you can either go to the house and ask for help, or you can go back and see what you can do about this swarm of bees.
I have a staff sling that has an 80-foot range.
And a tree in front of you.
I can certainly move to see it. I will go. Hold on. Is that a little better? Maybe I clipped the edge of that tree, but we'll see.
Yeah, you can try to hit them with your sling. Now remember, this is a swarm. It's not one bee. It's hundreds of bees. So we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens. It's either knives or this.
I think a knife could kill a bee.
Oh, I'll take a bee in one-on-one combat. You watch me.
I am. In fact, we're about to. Go right ahead.
I've been in the gladiator pit with a bee once. You didn't like it.
Mm-hmm. Go, Cade. So here's the amazing news. You hit with the 24, but it doesn't do any damage. It just goes right through the swarm, like it was not even there.
Okay. I will see that and take out a torch.
Celes sees the swarm. It's about 30 feet to the north of her. It's buzzing around, getting ready to do its swarm attack.
All right, she's nervous, but she's sort of excited a little. She starts to rub her fingers together, looking down at them expectantly, and sees little bits of smoke starting to come off of them. And then she smiles gleefully for a moment and throws a small bit of fire at them with Produce Flame. It's 2 actions.
Okay, well, you hit it for 5 points of damage, and sure enough, the bees go up in flames. Zzz, they did not like that. The swarm appears to be about a quarter dead, but it's still going strong. You have 1 more action.
Surprised and gleeful at her own success, she sort of yips in a cheer, realizes the swarm is still there, and the cheer turns into an eep, and she moves back behind Prue, hiding behind her, peeking out from around Prue's back.
The swarm goes. Bzzz. The swarm moves on top of Brixley.
Wrigley.
Yay! Wait, no, not yay.
Yay! Yay! Does Brixley like bees?
We got the same first letter in our name? I don't know.
They help make mead when they're not stabbing you with their butts.
They move onto your space as the first action. The second action, swarming stings. Dip, 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 dip. They start to sting you, sting you, sting you. Give me a reflex save to see if you... Oh, reflex, 18. Good job. You, instead of taking 4 damage, only take 2 damage as you're able to get some of them off of you. As its third action, it swarms you again! Yay!
That
Reflex
hardly
save.
seems fair.
Why? It's a swarm. Ooh, the 9.
That's not nearly as good.
No. Ooh, but I only roll a 1. I also have some good news. The swarm, in its effort to try to kill you, takes 2 points of damage as it's leaving its stingers behind inside of you, and the bees are dying. Oh, I almost forgot. Yeah, you feel bee sting poison going through you. Give me a fortitude save. 15. Missed it by that much.
Oh, come on.
You got 2 hero points, so remember.
That's true, you do have 2 hero points. You take 3 points of poison damage, and you are now clumsy as the poison is pumping through your vein. That's a -1 to your dex, -1 to your AC, -1 to your save, and -1 to all your skill check. Brixley, you're up.
Yeah, I'm going to move out of the swarm. And I realize it's a swarm and it's not really affected by the environment, but I'm going to try to move between the trees to see if it maybe breaks it up a little bit to try to get at me.
Brixley drunkenly goes to the west as he's like covered in bee stings and clumsy from the bee poison.
Actually, since I would not have perfect knowledge of what swarms do and don't do, I'm going to be a dope and first try to hit it with my hammer, like take out my hammer and try to hit it with my hammer.
All right, 1 action, take it out. 2 actions to second action to hit the swarm. You miss.
All right, and now I'm going to kind of do my original plan, just to kind of back off between the trees.
You know what? I think you should have put on the fly swatter attachment. You would have done better. Prue is up. Prue, do you like bees?
We're about to find out. So Prue just watched 2 physical attacks do absolutely nothing to the swarm, and the fire attack do quite a bit. So I've got an idea here. Prue's going to start channeling ghosts into her fists. So I'm going to use 1 action to put up a rage. Then I'm going to move next to the swarm. And then I'm just going to punch ghosts into these bees.
Yeah!
Are you punching bees?
Yes.
With ghosts.
With ghosts.
With ghosts.
So I swing and attack with my fist, and it's like, as these ghosts go in and eat bees.
Sorry, I missed a chance to add a with ghosts.
All right, I see that it's a 4. I really want this with ghost thing to happen, so I'll redo it with the hero point.
Oh, the hero points are being spent
With ghosts. With
liberally.
ghosts. With ghosts.
Yes, with ghosts. With ghosts.
Yeah, ghost punch.
The ghost punch actually did some damage. You actually hit And you did even more than that. Hold on.
Three
Yeah.
of it is negative energy. So
Oh, really? Oh, that's right.
yeah, that's
because
what the
you have-
spirit barbarian does.
Right. So 3 would be negative, 3 bludgeoning. So how much is it? So 8. So 3. So 5 is bludgeoning and 3.
5 bludgeoning, 3 negative. 3 ghost damage.
Got it. The bees don't like the ghosts. The bees are afraid of them ghosts.
Nice.
You did 6 points of damage. Maybe you have a future as an exterminator. Who knows? Cade, you're up.
Okay, I'm going to move. Then I'm going to light the torch I have in my hand. Is that another action?
Yes. Got 1 left. Everything's an action.
And I'm going to try and throw it into the swarm.
Okay. Let's see how this happens.
What do you need me to...
Just use one of your ranged. I'll do the rest. Use
Okay.
like your dagger. It actually wasn't a bad throw. A 16, but it's a little wide and just misses the swarm. And now it's like...
Well,
to the north of it.
there's a lit torch over there.
Yeah, there's a lit torch
So-
to the north of the swarm. It was close, actually. It was close. The swarm is actually pretty agile. Celeste, you're impressed by the punching of the ghosts.
Yes.
All right. She's impressed by the punching of the ghost. She's still amazed that she can like produce fire from her hands. So this time she holds both of her fists out, pointed directly at the thing, at the swarm, and she's like, "Fire fists, go!" And another gout of flames springs forth.
I need you to kill these bees because this is about to suck real bad for me.
You were so excited about trying out your ghost-busting flame fist that you Hadouken and totally missed.
Spend that other hero point.
Got 1 more hero point.
You know what? It's use it or lose it. So sure, yeah. Let's try this again.
Whoa, let's try that again. 0 hero points.
No risk, no reward.
Oh, that was a good one.
Yeah!
Hey!
Look at that. You hit 25 and max damage.
Totally worth.
You know what it was? You did it the first time and you missed, and then you sneezed, and then another one came out, and that one killed it.
Awesome.
The bees drop dead, and they all go on fire. Little burning embers of bees. What are you going to do?
I go get my torch.
Okay.
I get my torch. I put it out, and I put it away. And then back to plan A.
What the hell is wrong with this town?
Bees is better than blood-sucking monster bugs.
I'd rather not have everything try to kill us here.
That would be nice.
With that, as you're getting your things together, you see a large woman coming out of the house. And she is head to toe in a suit of padded armor. It looks like she has seen this before, and she also has smoke sticks in her hands. And she seems to be waving them around to get rid of the bees. She looks at you all and waves for you to come in. You can hear under the muffle of her mask, she's like, come in, there might be some more. Get out of here before they attack again.
All right, I guess we will.
I see no reason not to.
Brixley drunkenly walks over to Amara as he's got poison running through his veins. He's still clumsy. Somebody can hold their liquor, but they can't hold their poison. She invites you in, and she looks you over and says, sorry about that. You know, them bees, they just sort of take up residence in these rotten trees. Not many people come visit me, and the ones that do, they know to go around the orchard if they want to come visit me. I'm sorry that happened. If I knew you were coming, I would have met you and used my smoke sticks to get rid of them. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Turns out we were able to take care of them ourselves.
She does pull out from the cabinet something and says, well, there is one good thing. And she pulls out a large jar of honey and biscuits. She's like, I do get some amazing honey from the beehives after I run them away. So here you go. Have as much as you want. These are like huge, delicious biscuits with like super rich honey.
Oh.
I will eat some. Oh, wait. Celeste needs to try them first to make sure they're not poisoned.
Celeste cannot turn down such a wonderful offer. She hasn't had such good food in a long time. I am including all that turnip stuff.
So sure enough, the food is delicious.
Cade dives in. Against his better judgment, he always reverts back to his halfling nature of loving deliciousness, but he hates that he shows it sometimes. Like his
This adventure actually makes me want to go have a steak that's like dressed with turnips.
Yeah, same.
She's happier enjoying the food, and she has other drinks and wine and other delicious items, and Cade's eyes water as he sees the food. With that, she looks at you and says, So how may I help you, fellers?
We're investigating the murder. What can you tell us?
She just shakes her head. She's like, Oh, Bort was such a good man. I feel terrible, I tell you. I mean, I had nothing to do with it. Nothing. I love that man like a son. He was always good to me, and he brought us lots of trade. He was the only one who comes here on a regular basis and brings fine folk like yourselves.
It seems like you've known him for a long time, then.
Oh, well, he's been coming through the town for years now. Everyone knows that. You must have known that. It's part of his regular routine.
Well,
Do you have any
sure,
enemies? Do you know anyone who might have wanted to wish him harm?
She thinks for a second. She's like, I don't know. I mean, he did do a lot of trade in town. I mean, I personally didn't really need anything from him. I was able to secure all the turnips and that I need, and everything else like honey and wheat I'm able to just gather in the fields. So I didn't need him, but yes, perhaps. I mean, he did do a lot of business in town. Maybe he had a bad deal or something.
Sounds like someone wants the town to suffer.
I never thought of that. I mean, this town's already been through so much. It's has the fire and the plague, and we're in the middle of nowhere. I mean, what more could you want to this poor town?
Who all had access to that bowl of porridge? Sure, you might not have poisoned it, but someone did.
Well, let me think. She thinks for a second. She's like, well, I prepared the dessert, of course. Finnick plated it, and Trin served it. I don't believe anyone else was in the kitchen, even though I went out more than once to empty the slop bucket. I really want to make sure that you get to the bottom of this, because I can't have this ruin my image. This is all I have in my life is cooking the fine food for these folks. And if I don't have that, I don't know what I'll do.
Is there any chance someone could have snuck in that you didn't see?
As I said, it could be. I did go out and back and forth emptying out the slop bucket, but as far as I know, it's just myself, Pinnock, and Trin, and that's it.
Well, where can we find Pinnock and Trin?
Let me think for a second. Oh, do you have the bowl, by the way?
I think we did. We wrapped it it dried out, but we still have the bowl. We wrapped it in I think we wrapped it in like, cloth just to have it.
Yeah, you wrapped it in something. I think you wrapped it in like a moist cloth to keep it kind of wet.
Yeah, you did.
Finnick, you said served the food and Trin plated it, is that right?
No, Finnick plated it and Trin served it. Finnick is the goblin helper, and Trin is the female server. You've seen her around. She's always daydreaming and thinking of escaping this place.
Ah, yes, thank you.
Trin you can find in town. Finnick, he's often just helping out me in the kitchen, and he's usually sleeping in the barn or something like that. You know what? I'm not exactly sure where he lives. I believe he just sleeps in the barn most nights. She also pulls out the bowl and looks at it and smells it a little. And she looks at you. She's like, "Did you smell this? It smells a little off, don't you think?"
I don't know. We checked it out last time. I didn't smell anything weird.
We don't exactly smell a lot of turnips, you see.
Maybe a perception check to smell it again, if you wish.
Okay.
Brixley takes a big whiff of the bowl, smells nothing out of the ordinary. Cade is too ravished by honey and biscuits to notice anything out of the ordinary.
Covered in biscuit and honey in my mouth.
Celes is also just in bliss from the food. Prue, on the other hand, you notice something. You notice a faintest impression of a floral odor, a very specific odor that you probably realize that really has nothing to do with porridge. The floral odor is sweet, almost too sweet.
Yeah, I do get that. It's flowery? It's too sweet. What is that?
You don't know. Amara looks at you and says, well, I didn't use anything like that in preparing the dish. That, and she sort of takes a whiff of it. She's like, yeah, I can smell this sort of flowery odor. It's, this definitely is not part of my normal ingredients. This was definitely tampered with.
Who knows about toxins? We need to figure out which toxin smells flowery.
Everyone looks at Cade.
I didn't want to call you out, but yeah, I was thinking Cade.
I thought it was always the baker who knew about poison, or is that a different game?
What about a medicine check?
You can make a medicine check.
You can do medicine.
I'll try medicine.
I don't have underworld lore.
That would work too. Prue, the smart half-orc. Who knew? 21 medicine. That's pretty good. Let's see. Let's let everyone else check too.
My underworld lore is +4. My medicine's +5. I'll roll medicine. Nope.
Yep. An 8 don't do it.
I'm not a poisoner type of guy.
Prue uses her medicine check, and she can smell that faintest floral odor. She knows that you probably might want to go check out the body, because there would probably be a similar odor as the poison would linger. And perhaps also maybe check the kitchen again or try to find out what delivered the mechanism, because that would also have the smell.
Okay, I'm going to try real hard to just dedicate this scent to memory so that when we go sniffing around again, I can maybe identify it.
True. You have the bowl, and you have it, and you can bring it with you. So you don't have
Well, that's true.
You can dedicate it to memory, or you can just whip out the bowl and use that.
We'll do both in case something happens.
You bloodhound, you. Okay. She thinks to herself, and she says, I definitely don't have anything in the kitchen that would create that sort of a unique scent. I would hope that you can find what this is. It definitely is something. I know nothing about poisons or anything of that sort, and I don't know anyone who would. This town sort of frowns upon anything in the field of toxicology. Yes, nothing like that. Ever since plague hit, we have shunned all toxicology and medicines and other ointments and elements like that.
Do you think you could let us into the kitchen so we could look around?
Oh, as I said, the owner, Delma, she'll let you in. Aren't you staying there?
Great. Yeah, we're staying there.
Don't sound so thrilled. There's nowhere else to stay in town. You could always stay in the stables if you wish.
Little attitude now, huh? I wasn't expecting that from someone whose food killed a man.
No, let's all just calm down. We all want the same thing. We want to discover who this poisoner is, who this murderer is, and if we work together, I think we can accomplish that.
Speaking of poison, is there a particular treatment for being stung by bees?
It's worked itself out of your system, so you're no longer clumsy. You still have the damage. You're just not clumsy.
Well, really quick, I didn't explicitly say that I was going to refocus, but I can refocus with a 10-minute rest. So
that's correct.
Can I have done that while we were taking the rest of our walk with the old guy? So, all right, in that case, I'll do a lay hands on myself and get my damage back to full.
You can also do like 10 minutes worth of biscuits and honey. I mean, that makes sense, right?
There you go. Refocus and biscuits and honey. I think the biscuits actually take a few minutes off the thing.
If you've got 10 minutes per lay on hands, eat some more biscuits and heal me up.
All right, I could do that. Yeah. We'll just keep refocusing and healing.
I was going to do it, but I was waiting so we didn't have company.
Well, Brixley's willing to be obvious about this sort of stuff.
I just use ghosts. I think you're fine.
Anyhow, you continue to eat. She doesn't seem to have any more information other than she's going on about how she's worried about her image and seems very worried about what people think of her. But yeah, that's kind of it.
Celeste's going to use this time to try and convince her that by going back to work and allowing the feed house to reopen, that would show that she's confident in her ability and not doubtful and not, looking as guilty. That by hiding out here and not going back, worsens her, the perception of her, if that's what she's concerned about. So that would essentially be a diplomacy check, I think.
Sure. 16. She thinks about it and she says, I'll tell you what, honey. I'm gonna go back and I'll have dinner tonight. I'll make some dinner, but it would really mean a lot to me if you ate the food and showed everyone that it's safe to eat. How about that?
Yeah, how about that, Celes?
If you bring some more of these biscuits and honey, I'll have no choice.
Oh, don't worry. I'll bring the whole jar of honey. You can slobber it over all the turnips you want.
All the turnips, right?
In fact, I'm gonna make you my special turnip turnover surprise. I'm gonna make it just for you, honey. Honey for my honey. You get it?
Aww.
That sure is sweet. Celeste looks over to Prue like, what have I gotten myself into?
Exactly what you deserve. Do y'all have any more questions for Amara, or can we get out of here?
Nah, sounds like we probably ought to go follow up on some of this other stuff.
You've been listening to Roll for Combat, a Pathfinder actual play podcast. If you have a question or comment for the show, please visit us at rollforcombat.com. You can also find us and play various role-playing games on our Discord channel at discord.rollforcombat.com. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and other social media platforms. You've been listening to Roll for Combat. Until next week, always remember that chaotic greedy is not a real alignment.